Welcome to the live stream. All right, so we've got a Saturday evening here. We have about an hour to answer some questions and just have fun. So, welcome to the stream, the Honest Audiophiles Prime Time Ask Anything Hour. So, hopefully, you all came prepared with some questions, and we'll get through them quickly here and get you all answered up and ready to go. So, this is Father's Day weekend, and I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there and watching the stream, joining us, including my own father. Thank you very much for everything that you've done through my life, all the things that you've taught me, and all the fun times that we've had, lessons that we have learned. And love you very much, Dad. And I do greatly appreciate everything you've done as a father. And don't forget to contact your dad and say hello and tell him that you love him. And if you're able to, give him a gift of some sort, maybe some headphones or some music, something along those lines. Hey, Paul, welcome. And thank you for joining us tonight. While we're waiting for some questions to come in, just wanted to see how everybody's doing. How is the Happy Father's Day decibels and danger zones? I'm sorry, decibels and danger zones, as far as like frequency response, volume levels. Can you clarify for me? And then just today I got up, and since it was the coolest day of the week, mowed the grass. It was, let's see, when I got up this morning, it was 70 degrees. By the time I finished mowing the grass, it was 72. And then I got up to, I think 78 was the high. And then decibels and danger zones, saw it on your website. You're talking about terms? I'm confused. I don't recognize those unless you're talking about the volume levels. Um, Post that I made on that. Is that what you're referring to? I'm sorry, my old man brain's getting in the way with the question. How loud is too loud? Yes, that's actually a very good little read. I've listened between 65, 75 dB. Usually I'm around 70 dB. I use a little measuring tool, just one of the here. I have it right here. And it's not very scientific. It's not 100% accurate, but it will give you kind of a reference point. And if you're way up there on this, if it's registering into 80s or above, you're probably listening too loud. The easiest way to do IEMs and headphones is just to put this as close as you can to the nozzles of the IEM or to the cups. Put it and then try to isolate it as best as possible, and then it'll read it. Now, of course, you do have to take into effect what your room sound is and everything also. So, but it'll kind of tell you what your listening level is. Obviously, your ears will tell you too. If you are questioning if it's too loud, it probably is. um, so that's just a good thing. This is actually really good for speakers. You kind of hold it like this at your normal listening position, and then it'll tell you your levels. So, anyways, that's kind of that. Um, I really do listen at very low levels all the time. I very rarely ever really jack up the listening volumes. Even on quieter songs, I'd rather strain a little bit to hear what's going on than boost it. Weird, I know. All right, thank you for clarifying. Sorry. Uh, yeah, it's been a long day. That's what happens when you mow the grass when it's hot out. All week long, it was in the 90s, which is rare for June here in Indiana. All right, let's see. I love your reviews. Do you plan on doing reviews on Dapps in the future? Some. I don't really get a lot of Dapps in. When I do get one in, I'll do a review of it. They're actually kind of hard to review, and just because they have so many functionalities and various things and showing it on screen and stuff, it can be hard to show. But yeah, I have reviewed some Dapps. The ones that I have used. I think there was only one, maybe two that crossed my desk that I never did a full review on. Like the Hi-Fi and Mega Mini, I never did a review, and um, I don't think I ever reviewed the Pioneer. But for the most part, yeah, I've reviewed them, but they're rare. I don't. I mean, I use them all the time. My Sony WM1A, but I don't. They don't cross my desk very often. All right, let's see here. First day under 100 in Augusta, just 97. Whew. This is just too much. I went to school in Greenville, South Carolina, and when it gets hot down there in the South, you also get the humidity, and I can't. I feel for you. That's crazy hot. Um, Oof, no thanks. Depper, good day to you too. Fred, you're very welcome. And let's see, did I miss one? Apollo moon landing. Did I answer your question? Did I explain that, or do you want me to explain it in a different way? Um, yes. Happy Father's Day to all. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Or Alexis, sorry. And I'm doing good. I've had a busy day. As I said, mowed the grass. Had to go grocery shopping. That's always fun. And had to drive back. Do all that kind of stuff. Eat dinner. So yeah, it's been a busy day. Not super busy, but busier than most. This week was busy in the office for work. Hi yo, Joshua. Um, so yeah, it's been fun. What budget alternative to C Audio Yum and Moondrop Kato do you recommend? Um, you're looking for like half the price of those, so like $100 or less. Let's see, you go 10 Hi-Fi T3 Plus, uh, Dunu Titan S. You could do Katori Dauntless, and I answered it. Okay, awesome, Apollo. Let's see. You could do the elixir, but actually the elixir is more expensive than those. The elixir is over 200. I think the elixir is 210, whereas the others are 180 ish, somewhere in that price point. If you really want to go a super budget, you could do something like a Jade Audio EA1. You could go down to a 10 Hi-Fi T2, 10 Hi-Fi T3. Um, there's a lot of different options in there for that. Let's see. I answered Elixir. Yes, you were right. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? If you if you really want a little bit of change of pace to the Yum, you could always go with the Midnight. You get a little bit thicker sound, a little bit more bass, but you do lose a little bit of special tonality that the Yum's known for. You could go FH3, which is kind of a little more bass oriented as well. There's a lot of options in that for those. But if you want something that has the exact same tuning, I would go with, like the Titan S, T3 Plus, Dauntless. Thanks for recommendations. Hey, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Happy Father's Day for sure. Um, I'm not a father, do not have any children, but I do have a lot of pets. So, I mean, I'm a pet father. 4 dogs, 3 cats. We'll call it that. Happy Father's Day to all of you that have come in since I said it before. Have you heard of any Aeons? Yes, I've heard a couple of the Aeons. I've heard the originals, open and closed, and I heard the drop variant, and Aeon 2 closed, I believe it was. Did reviews of all of them, I believe. Maybe not the originals open. or close. One of them I may not have reviewed, but I have heard them. Like them. I like the Aeons. Probably the one of the most comfortable headphones that you can get. As far as sound, interesting. They have a little bit warmer tonality to them, a little bit of lushness, good body. I like the Aeons. You can use the tuning pads with them and kind of alter the sound accordingly, which way you want. The closed ones tend to have a little bit bigger of a soundstage and a little bit more aggressive of a presentation. The opens do not sound open. It's kind of interesting, but I like them all. How do they compare to Odyssey? To the Odyssey closed? The Odyssey 2 closed is a lot more detailed and is more like, in my opinion, a little bit more on the neutral side of things, whereas the Aeons are a little bit on the more fun leaning side. You have a little bit more impactful bass and a little bit more engagement, so to speak. And technicalities, the Odyssey is better, in my opinion. Now, I have not heard like the Noir. From what I hear, the Noir is a completely different beast when it comes to the Aeons, but I haven't heard that one. I have not heard the Oracle. I would love to. Everybody says I need to hear an Oracle. Have not heard one yet. Dapper, you're welcome. Comfortable 71 in Los Angeles. Wow, you're cooler than we are here in Indiana. Um, that's nice. Take it while you can have it because your hot days are going to be coming there in Los Angeles, more than likely. Going on currently. Did I miss something, Raphael? You said going on currently. Did you post like something else, but I missed it? I'm sorry if I missed half of your comment. Um, so, a couple of things that we have coming in for review. I'll just read my review list. Currently, right now, there is about 30 things in the office. I won't read them all, but some things that you can expect some reviews coming. Now, I don't know exactly when yet, but we have the JQ4U Pro. We have the Seek Real Airship, the TRN Kirin, the Yan Yin Aladdin, the Yan Yin Cannon, the TRN BAX, the Raptco Hook X, the Hibby FC4, the Hibby FC3, IFI Audio Go Bar, the Shanling UA3, Moondrop 2, and see SMSL DO100, SMSL HO100, the Audio Vidar, Mytech Liberty DAC 2, VE Megatron, the VE Master, Topping LA90, Hi-Fi Man HE400 SE, and a whole bunch more stuff. But that's kind of the highlights. So be on the lookout for some of those gear going forward for reviews. So got a lot going on at the channel. So it'll take a little bit for some of those reviews to come out. Patience is requested. Obviously not going to get all of those done in 2 weeks. Let's see. I'm just saving and waiting for an end game straightway. Haven't got a pair of headphones yet. Research after research. Hey, that's good. That's a lot of times if you just go budget, buy this, try this, sell, you'll end up actually spending more money than you would have if you had just saved for the one that you truly do think you'll love. If possible, do hear it before you buy it. If possible, highly recommended. Especially if you're going to spend big money. Reviews can say all of the right things, and then when you hear it, it just won't sound right on your gear, and you might be disappointed. So if you can hear it, I do recommend that. Let's see. Just looked at the graph for the Thea Audio Oracle. It looks like it will be nice for those who want a clear yet more neutral sound. Wonder what the Honest Audiophile kind of sound likes. Let's see. AKG 612 Pro. What headphone would you consider a good upgrade from those price to performance? Well, there's all kinds. You could get Sennheiser HD 660S. You get the soundstage depth and layering along with the tonality. You could go Sundara from Hi-Fi Min. You'd get a little bit more technicals, maybe not quite as wide of a soundstage. Let's see, what else could you go? You could go with HD 600. You're going to get a little bit more forward mids. Soundstage won't be as wide, but you will have maybe a little bit better depth and layering. Technicalities be a little step up. Definitely better tonality, though. Let's see, what else? You could go AKG. You could go the 701s, but they're a little bit brighter. But they're fun. They've got the soundstage like the 612s do. There's a good amount of options there. I would probably, if it was me, I would stick with the Sennheiser, um, or the Hi-Fi Man. Those would be the nearest route that I would take. If you wanted to spend bigger money, you could go Ananda. Let's see. That was sound advice about headphones. Yes, pun intended. I didn't catch the pun at all. Best IEM for $300. Well, I don't actually like the term best, but my recommendations will do that for around $300. You got the Blessing 2 from Moondrop. And then you have the Moondrop Kato if you want to save a little money. And you also have the C Audio Ume. And you have the Thea Audio Elixir. You have the Shure S12. And you have the Tin Hi-Fi P1 Max. And we'll keep it there. That's a pretty good list for you to start with. You're very much appreciated. Yeah, go for Kato. Kato is really good. If you ask anything tempting, be careful into it. There are some things. Anyways, yeah, Kato's very good. If you think if you're a little worried about the treble of the Kato, go with the Elixir. Let's see. With all the time you spend reviewing new headphones and other gear, how much time do you get to just leisurely listen on your favorite gear? I usually take about 1 or 2 evenings a week, and I'll spend a couple hours just listening to gear, and or I'll do it on a weekend. If I'm really needing to push some gear out, I'll push back my leisurely time. But for the most part, I do try to fit in a little bit here, a little bit there, and I usually take about an hour a day just to play games on the PS4 to just goof around, um, or something along those lines, just to be a little relaxation. And that's usually right after work before dinner. So, and lately, in case anybody's wondering, my game of choice has been Wreckfest. I don't know if you've ever played Wreckfest, but it's a blast. So, if you are into like demolition derbies and just bashing cars, and like figure eight racing and stuff like that, Wreckfest is a game for you. Totally arcade, not realistic at all, but man, it's fun. And you can take out your frustrations without hurting anybody. All right, let's see here. Deeper that treble. It can be intense for some people on Ducato. I can understand that. Heavy, I don't know. Not sure about that. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? Everybody's deep in thought. Do you have any tube headphone amps? If you can maybe see it, it's a little blocked. Let me move my microphone. There you go. That one. That is the Tor Audio Roger. And it's a toroidal. It's a very interesting amplifier. Love it to death. Comes with pretty decent stock tubes, but I did replace them. I have plenty of other weird tubes that I put in it. Currently, it has a RCA rectifier and a Pavani something or other. I don't remember which one that is. But that's my tube amp that I do use currently. I've had a few others through the years. I went to see your watch collection. Well, currently, it's over here in a display case that has been taken over by the bazillion IEM boxes that I have. And so they're buried. But maybe at one point I will bring out a few of them during the live stream. Maybe we'll do that for like 100K subs, something like that. Who knows? Just kidding. I don't know. I'll show us at some point. It's not really anything spectacular. Let's see here. Been thinking to ask since last week stream. What have you been thinking about asking? Was that about the Kato? I don't remember deeper. All right, let's see. Actually, I'm looking for a decent desktop amp. Do you have any recommendations for people who have 100 to 200 USD to spend? IFI Zendeck. Let's see what else. You could go. What do I have? Couple $100. Kind of my weak spot, but give me a second. I'm going to go to my cheat sheet. Does it have to be separates or do you want it to be integrated? Let's see. Give me a second. You've got the as I said, Zendeck. You could do a Gishelli Labs Enog, but it's only DAC only for 200. You could do an Ayun X1S GT. It comes in a little bit more, a little bit warmer of a sound. Very good. Let's see. Let me go to DACs or amplifiers only. Give me a second. You could do the Savage A10H as your amplifier. That was a very solid budget amp. And then you could just run something simple. You don't need a standalone DAC. You could even do dongles into it. Let's see. You could do Topping NX7 as your amplifier. That thing was fabulous. For an amplifier at $200, you could do the Drop THX AAA 1 linear, and that goes on sale quite often. You can usually get it for over $100, $150 on sale, and then you could just get a cheaper DAC that's of good quality to put in it. Things like that. If you already have a DAP, you can just run them into it. So we'll see. Sorry, that's kind of the one spot that I'm a little shaky on, and I haven't heard a ton of budget standalone DACs and amps or integrateds in that price point. You caught me in a weak spot. Sorry. All right, let's see. Let's throw a tough one at me. Do you know of any DAPs that have talking menus as someone who is blind? No. I do believe though but I haven't tried this. If you get one of the Android ones, you can use the Android variant. Now you would have to have your IEMs or headphones in order to hear it, but on the Android ones, they do have the voice talkback. I don't remember what they call it. The voice enabled help. Sorry, I don't know the term that they use, but you might be able to use that with headphones in. Maybe. Not sure. Sorry, I don't know of one specifically. All right. Let's see. Whenever is all right, Dave. It doesn't have to be spectacular. Gotcha. Okay. Could you share your thoughts on any differences you detect? I can speak. You detect between the Tin Hi-Fi P1 Plus and the P1 Max. Appreciate your superb content and happy day to all. Yes. So the P1 Plus and the P1 Max. The differences are that the P1 Plus is very much neutral, almost leaning neutral cold, whereas the P1 Max has the more natural approach. So overall, the P1 Max is going to be more engaging, a little bit more accurate and full in its sound, and it's going to have better tonality. Detail retrieval is going to be a slightly better on P1 Plus, but it comes at a cost because it's a very aggressive presentation, whereas the P1 Max is a lot more pleasant and more accurate in its actual presentation of the detail. It's not going to be quite as in your face clinical. So if you're looking for a clinical sound, P1 Plus, or yeah, P1 Plus. If you're looking for the more natural, accurate presentation, P1 Max. Also, fit way better on the P1 Max. It's a universal fit, whereas the P1 Plus has the weird, I don't know, triangle in your ear with a cable, Blonde 03 type of style. All right, let's see. Archel Pro Deckport HD. Are you wanting me to compare those? Or are you recommending that as the $100 to $200? Because if you're recommending it as a $200, that's actually a really good recommendation. So Intuit Reviews recommends the Centrance Deckport HD going to Archel Pro from Just Shelly. That's actually a really good comparison. Deckport HD is a very nice, clean, neutral sound. So that's actually a good recommendation. That'll get you right around 200, maybe slightly over the 200 mark, depending. Will you ever review the EJ07Ms, the HBB Lavas? I've once provided. I have not been offered one yet, but if one comes in, sure. Be glad to listen to it. Hokit, you are welcome. All right, let's see here. Can you talk about topping SMSL and THX amps? Many YouTube reviewers dislike their clean, low distortion, uncolored sound approach versus a Burson Singer X amps that add to the enhancement in the sound. Okay, I haven't heard the Singer X, and I haven't heard the THXs from SMSL. But the differences between like the THXs and the other amplifiers that I've heard, previous to the NX7, topping amps just didn't do it for me, especially the A90. It was just way too flat and unengaging. It lacked the naturalism to it. And it just lacked dynamics overall. It just had no presentation, no life, nothing. And a lot of the other toppings had that. They were either just flat, boring, just bleh, or they were too clinical, too clean, and it was glary and aggressive and sheeny. Same thing with SMSL. I had a problem with SMSLs kind of being that way, but they were not as severe as the toppings were. The SMSLs did have a little bit more of a smoother presentation. They weren't quite as aggressive. Comparing it to the other stuff like a Burson or IFI, head amp, or even the drop options, even including the 789 and the one linear, those have a better balance and cohesion about them. And even though the 789 is very neutral clinical, it at the same time represents what the DAC is giving it. So it's not trying to change what the DAC's giving it like the toppings and the SMSLs were. It actually does represent the presentation of the DAC, even though it adds in a little bit of coldness. Um, and I find that it's just better implemented. I prefer those versus the toppings and SMSLs. But as I said, I haven't heard the singers and I haven't heard the topping and the SMSL THXs. I've only heard their main amplifiers. All right. HBB is limiting who is getting those himself. Tell him to send more out for reviews. Hey, there you go. They are a limited edition. Interesting. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, there is a lot of supply chain issues. There's a lot of issues going about getting parts in, being able to, it's expensive to ship things. So maybe that's why they're limiting. Any tips about ear tips? Yes, ear tips do change your sonics. And basically you just have to try them. I own probably 30 to 40 different types of ear tips and different sizes, different types, whether they're silicone, single flange, dual flange, triple flange, wide bore, small bore, medium bore, different companies, and then also a bunch of different foams, Comply, Deconi, Low2, and a few others. And you just have to kind of try it. Usually I will attempt at to give the stock tip that the manufacturer picks to be the ones that I stick with. But sometimes you just have to change because either you don't get a good fit or they just don't sound good. So you just have to try various ones and be willing to listen. It does alter things a little bit, so you have to understand what the stock one's trying to present, and then kind of fix accordingly um, with tips. Just tip roll, just collect as many as you can is my suggestion, and try them. But do keep track of what one's what. Um, Save your little packages, make notes or something so that you know which one is which, because they can get very confusing if you don't make notes of which one is which. Um, and I learned that the hard way the other day because I have a big tray that has sections in it with the tips in and noted, and the cat knocked them over and they went all over the floor, and I had to sit there and go, okay, that one's this one, that one's this one. So make sure you have them marked and secure so the cat doesn't knock over your bag of tips. Okay, let's see. Hey, don't worry about the typing. That's fine. You are very welcome. Let's see. I just got a Grotto RS2X. Cool. Any recommendation for the amps to go with it? Haven't heard the RS2X, but with Grottos, I tend to like tube amps. Let's see. Running a Sound Blaster XG6 for my DT1990Xs. Would you suggest any products from your recent reviews for more detail? Well, the G6 isn't bad for like gaming, things like that. But if you're looking for more details and stuff, you'd probably want to go with a more with a step up in DAC and amp. It's been a long time since I heard 1990. You're going to want something a little bit warm. Maybe the well, my go-to is the one back here, the Mytek Liberty DAC 2, but that's quite pricey. You could go with the most budget one that I would probably trust is a Gishelli Labs. Or you can go with the Grace Design S-DAC if you can still find one. Amplifiers, you can go with a Drop 1 Linear or a 789. That would have plenty of power for the 1990s. You could go with a... You don't need anything super expensive for the 1990s, but you're going to want something that's got some good, clean neutrality to it, but also you have a little bit of natural sound. So I would stick with that. Hey, you're welcome. Glad you found that explanation helpful. To be honest, I kind of thought I was rambling. All right, let's see here. G6 is pretty cool as a gaming deck amp. I heard it was considering a shit Hell 2 is also nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to hear the Hell 2 and compare it to my G6. I actually use the G6 when I game. I like it a lot. It's really small. It has plenty of power for most, like what I use for gaming, for IEMs or for like simple headphones like the Rode NTH 100s, things like that. It powers it very easily. So I like it. It has different settings. You can do like footsteps and something else. I don't remember what the other ones they call. But G6, it's fairly cheap as far as a decent deck amp for gaming and movies and things like that. Music wise, it's okay, but it wouldn't be a desktop setup for me. All right, let's see here. Do you believe the Blessing to Dusk can realistically compete with the Oracle? Well, I haven't heard either. So can't really give that. I would probably, if I were to venture a guess, I would think the Oracle would probably edge it, technicality wise. That would be my guess, but I haven't heard either. Let's see here. Have I tried Aslas? I have. I do own the Z the really rubbery ones. Do not like those. And then I have the other ones, the not the crystals, but they're blue stemmed. Those ones aren't too bad. They're kind of like a matte white clear color. Those aren't bad. I don't mind those. Don't use them too often though. Normally, but I don't mind Aslas. All right, let's see here. You don't. Your cat doesn't knock things over, but you do. I I can't say I've never knocked anything over. I do tend to be a little clumsy, but the tips were not my fault. I actually came out. It was Sunday morning, and I was getting ready to go to church. We were both running late, and I was like, I have to get to church. I have to get the sound booth running. I have to get everything up and running. And I come into the office, and there's just all over the place. And one of the cats is sitting there playing with them. I'm like, great. All right. Anyways, let's see. Why do you recommend the 7 Hertz Timeless so popular? Why do they sound so good to so many people, myself included? It's because they're good. Timeless is a fun sound. I really do enjoy it. It does a very comfortable way with technicalities, and it does a good job in presenting music overall, and it has a nice tonality about it. P1 Max beats it though. Let's see here. I'm using them with my digital modular. Sounds amazing. Cool. Good day to you, Dave. Hello, Nico. Drop THX AAA one linear amplifier. It's a if you can see it here. This one. It's the little brother to the 789. It's basically the single-ended version of the 789. And I actually think it sounds slightly better. 789 is a little bit more clinical, a little bit colder in presentation. And the one linear has just a little bit more of that natural kiss to it. All right, let's see. Hell is probably my favorite budget device they make over at shit. I actually like the Heresy quite a bit. I enjoyed that one a lot. Let's see. Blessings are the worst IEMs you've ever heard. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I disagree. But everybody hears differently. And I understand that. Yeah, a Zen deck would pair very well with the drop one linear. And you're going to get a little bit warmer of a sound, but it'll play very well. You could do 4.4 out to no, you couldn't do the 4.4. Sorry. Do single ended out. Never mind. I'm okay. I'm awake. You get ear infections, so I can't use IEMs. Well, that's a bummer. Um, Ears are too sensitive. Yeah, unfortunately, that does happen. And I understand that. And headphones and speakers, cool. I was wondering, I'm starting into the audiophile world. Welcome to the rabbit hole. Could you please give me a recommendation for an IEM to start? Sure. Budget. Do you want to keep it super cheap, or do you want to go all in? And I'll gladly give you some recommendations. And also, what kind of sound signature do you like? Do you like it like big and bassy, or do you like a little bit more natural and neutral type of sound? Do you like treble? Um, what kind of music? Things like that, and I can give you some better answers. Guitar amps. I've never really used a guitar amp. Um, the only one that probably ever came into my life was when I was a teenager. My dad was a traveling evangelist, and we used to go from church to church. And the only amplifiers that we really had that we could use for our sound, because we did like puppet program. Yeah, I was a puppeteer. Um, the that had enough power and enough boom was a one of those plug-in amplifiers and had the volume and stuff. And we used a couple of those um, that were able to power things a little bit better. Ah, anyways, there you go. Now you know I about my guitar amplifier use. Jotunheim 2 with DAC module would make a nice alternate sound. I'm sorry, all around DAC and amp. Haven't heard the Jotunheim 2. Haven't heard the Jotunheim actually, but that does look like a very interesting device. And I would love to review one at some point if shit is listening. All right, let's see here. Any other questions? We got about 20 minutes left. 18 minutes actually, according to the clock here. Oh yeah, you inherited some speakers my late grandfather built. Awesome. Did he use like a particular type of driver? Did he build his own cases and stuff? That would be kind of cool. I'm always been curious about the ESS Labs one that they that some people use to build some DIYs. Never heard one of those, but they look kind of cool. Worked on television audio systems in the 70s. Hmm, cool. I'm not sure what kind of signature. I think more towards bassy. I would like a budget to start so I can work my way up. Okay, so budgets. Let's see. You could do the KB ear Tri Meteor. That would probably be $100 bassy IEM. You could go with. Let me get my cheat sheet out again. Bear with me here. I am terrible at recalling information. Really, really bad at that, actually. All right, we will start in sub $100 and go backwards. Um, you could go with the if you could go a little higher than 100-ish, you could go Fearless Audio Barcelona. That's a pretty basic one. You could go with the let's see what else we got here. Um, K Bear Inc. That one's kind of fun sounding. Just reviewed that a little while ago. You could go. Let's see. You can go with the Triple N HBB Melee and um, we'll keep it at that. That's a good starting point for you. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm not sure what kind of signature. Oh, I just read that one. Let's see. I'm a layman, though. I've been trying to learn. Hey, I learn every day, new stuff. So, nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Jotunheim 2 is like a muscle car, very guttural, punchy sound. If your gear could match that well, it could be great, but it isn't really a finesse device. Interesting. So it's kind of picky with what it goes with. That's kind of how I've heard it described. That would be interesting. You live in the moment. That's right. Let's see. Melee is a nice $50 somewhat bassy IEM. Very true. Ananda versus Edition XS. Haven't heard the Edition XS yet. Sorry, Dwayne. Still have not been able to have one come across the desk yet. Let's see. Moondrop Chew coming next week. Started out with Tin Hi-Fi T2, came from all of the bass bloated stuff, so it was a bit lackluster, but as I got used to it, it sounds cleaner. Yes, absolutely. T2 is detailed and very clean and very tonally correct. And it does a good job of resolution for the price point. Bass will sound a little bit, you're like, but once you actually really start listening and understand how instruments are supposed to sound in music, you also realize that it's actually pretty correct as far as what that is supposed to sound like. Um, you're very welcome, Alexis. Hopefully that helped. Let's see, audio system. My grandfather built. Oh, don't be sorry. I understand that. And it's on the. This is Joshua Tat Guitars. Something about cats. Sorry, I missed it. Um, let's see. Hi-Fi Min will probably have more sub $800 models soon. I hope to compete with Ananda. Yeah, it kind of appears like they're headed in that way. Looks like they're doing an Ananda Stealth, which will be interesting to see if it kind of tames just that little bit of peak in the uppers that some people find kind of be annoying. That would be interesting to hear. I would love to compare it to my Ananda, which is back there. Um, and then it looks like they have a couple other plans. I saw something, I can't remember the names of the models, but it looks like there's a couple other things planned in around the $800 to $1,000 price point. So that's kind of exciting because that's kind of the area that Hi-Fi Man hasn't touched, because you kind of go from XS, Ananda, all the way to Aria, and there's a big gap in there. They kind of need to fill that, whereas Audizes kind of come in and filled that spot with some different gear. So good to see that Hi-Fi Man is starting to focus on that area a little bit. Meze 99 open back. That thing looks really cool. Don't know the price tag yet. I don't think it's been announced. I'm guessing probably it's going to be somewhere between about $600 to $1,000. Because it probably, I don't think it's going to be as expensive as the Lyric. Um, and it definitely is an upgrade to the 99s, but it's still in the kind of family. So it's probably going to be somewhere 600 to 1,000, probably 750, 800 is my guess. Yeah, price hasn't been announced. It looks really nice though. Be really cool. Meze, if you're watching, I'd like to hear it. The Advar from Meze looks really interesting too. Their new IEM, and that's cheaper. Cheaper by Meze price tag. Um, so that one looks interesting as well. Any more questions here? retro futuristic. Yeah, that'd be the way that I would kind of classify the styling. Um, Not really. What's the word? Uh, Name slipped me. Steampunk. There you go. Thank you. You knew what I was trying to say. Yeah, it's kind of steampunk looking. Um, Kind of like the look of that. Cat is meowing in the hallway. Doors open, kitty. I don't know if they'll come in. They were in here earlier, and they were like, "Oh, you're setting stuff up. Let me knock it over." Yeah, I love the cats. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? We got 10 minutes. 10 minutes to go on the clock. So this next week, the reviews on schedule are the Raptico Hook X and the Moondrop Chew. If the chat could tell me which order would you like those two to be reviewed in, I'll do it. So let's pull the chat real quick. Chew or Hook X first? All right, we got one vote for Chew. Hook X, okay, 1 and 1. Any more options here? We need at least one for the rubber. We can't leave it up to me to decide. Who is going to split it? All right, Chew. There we go. 2 for Chew, 1 for Hook X. Any more? Anything to secure the win for the Chew? I'm a Yankees fan, so whenever you bring in Chapman to close, it's scary. So one run is not good enough. So let's need more than more than that just for the Chew. It's not secure yet with just one. 2-1 here. Coin flip. Okay, that doesn't help. Speaking of, Yankees are like killing it right now in the East. That's kind of crazy how I'm a Yankees fan through and through. Been that way my whole life, having grown up in New York, Buffalo, New York area. But I didn't think they were going to be very good this year, and I thought that they would be kind of like they have been for the last several years, which is squeak in a wild card, and here they are, just out to like what is it, 11 or 12 game lead on the East. I know it's early, but they're looking pretty dominant this year. Okay, Chew, there we go. Now the Chew is 2 up. So Moondrop True will be the next review, I guess. I hope you have more patrons and YouTube supporters. You deserve them, Dave. Thanks for your integrity and all that you do. Best wishes from Canada. Well, thank you, Dwayne. Actually, I lost a patron. I'm down to 3 patrons, and I did gain a YouTube member. So thank you to that. If you do want to join, it is there. And right down below here on the video, there's a little button that says join, and that's the way you become a YouTube member. You do get access to the videos early. You get a couple hour preview. If you join Patreon, you will get some various um, extras. Also, you get to see the video early. So every now and then I post things to promote, but truthfully, I'm not very good at it. As a member, I do the same thing on YouTube. I'll post some random stuff every now and then, but honestly, I need to do better at that. But yeah, if you do enjoy the channel and you want to support it, there are those options. Also, you could use Super Chat. It should be activated for this live stream. And you can always send gifts, Venmo or PayPal if you want. Um, I don't like begging for money, but money does help support the channel. And not all gear is provided, as you have found out here through some comments. An XS isn't available, oracles, things like that. I can't always get in, and I do fund a lot of gear. Um, and so, just a little bit back does help. And there's ways to help the channel if you like it, and it's greatly appreciated. All funds that come into the channel will be used for the channel. Unless you say, go get yourself a cup of coffee, then I'll use it for a cup of coffee. All right, let's see here. Working on Go Phillies. And they need a lot of prayers this year. Let's see. Working on a DIY project set of headphones, waiting for replacement drivers to arrive. Cool. Cool. Let's see here. How would you rank these IEMs according to your personal preference? P1 Max, S12, Hook X, and Elixir. My personal preference would be P1 Max, Elixir, S12, Hook X. Technical wise, it'd be S12, P1 Max, Elixir, Hook X. I guess I spoiled the Hook X review. Whoops. All right, 5 minutes left here. Any more questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, recommendations, anything of the sort there? Do you listen to hip hop? A little bit. I do mix in as many different genres as possible, but it's not one of my main go tos. We'll put it that way. But I do listen to some hip hop. Not really. All four of these IEMs are rather close to each other. Yeah, I mean, they're not like super far apart. So when you rank them, you're not like saying this one is absolute heaven and this one is the worst piece of dirt on the bottom of your shoe. It's not like that type of difference. You're absolutely right there. All right, let's see here. Any hints regarding the Seek Real Audio Airship? It's Kato-ish. Who is your favorite rapper? Took you that long to think up that question into it? Who is my favorite rapper? Uh let's see. The favorite rapper actually would probably have, if he's considered a rapper, would probably be DMX and MC Hammer from back in the day. Those were probably my guys back yonder. I really don't listen to much rap, to be honest. I do have a favorite rap song though. My favorite rap song is by Confederate Railroad, and it's called "I Hate Rap." So usually when somebody asks me what is your favorite rap song, that's the one I give you. Intuit can confirm that. Let's see here. Okay, you're gonna give it to it. Okay, thanks. Do you keep all of your headphone cables put away due to the cats? Yes. I do have some hanging back here, but they can't get to them. At least not that I'm aware of. And then the other ones I do keep in like a little drawer, pull out drawers, like this type of drawer, and then you just pull them out and you put them in there. All right, let's see here. We are coming to a close. Yeah, they actually straighten out a lot. A lot of times when I get them, like if I get a new product and they're all kinked up in the box, I'll just hang them for a while, and then that's easy to access them. And I have them separated out, so like each one of the hooks has a different type. So like on the far left hand side is hi-fi min type cable with 3.5s, and then I'll have different connector, whether it's quarter inch or XLR. And then the next one is Odyssey, for mini XLR connection. And then the one in the middle with the purple, I don't know if you can see that, that is actually the ones for the Ross and Red Zero. And then next one over with the white one, that is the connection for Mr. Speaker's Dan Clark Audio. And then the farthest ones over are Sennheisers. And then I have a bunch more all over the place. IEMs are stored in those little containers like down below. Yes. One thing I do recommend is give it a little bit more space than I did, because sometimes some cables are a little bit thicker than others and it makes it a little hard. I wish I had spaced it out a little bit more, but that does work out good. Do get the connection if you do decide that, like the command strip ones, get the hooks that are a little bit longer, because the little short ones or the flatter ones, cables tend to slip off. So if you get the one that's more of a hook, an actual hook, it works better. All right, I am going to start wrapping things up here. It's been a little bit over an hour, so I do appreciate everybody joining for the live stream tonight, and appreciate every comment, question, the laughs, and all that good stuff. I do appreciate everybody joining, and I do wish everybody a happy Father's Day, and don't forget to call your father or send a message and say, "Hey, love you, thinking about you." If you appreciate the channel and want to support it in some way, there will be links down below. You can do that. You can join any sort of, by joining YouTube, or you can go on Patreon and follow that way, or Venmo, PayPal, as I mentioned earlier. You can do all that kind of good stuff. And also, check out the links. There's all kinds of information regarding how you can use gear recommendations and music and all that kind of good stuff is down there. So check all that fun stuff out. We'll have to do this again. Live streams are fun and do greatly appreciate it. And you all have yourself a great weekend. Don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy. Bye bye.